Hey, Modern Math teacher Kristen Moore here. Welcome to today's episode of Poolside PD. And today we're going to talk about teaching trends. You guys, even our favorite teaching trends, they have a lifetime. They've got a shelf life. They're going to come and they are going to go. Do you remember No Child Left Behind, or the Lucy Calkins era, or right now building thinking classrooms? Okay, these teaching trends are fantastic in and of themselves, but you need a teaching approach that's going to live beyond the trend. And that is where keeping it real, relevant, and rigorous is going to be your key to the future of math education sustainably. Okay, so let's talk about it for a minute. Are your lessons technically fine, but maybe like totally forgettable? Let's talk about how the 3 R's your curriculum actually needs can completely change that. You guys, most teachers say that they want students to engage in deep thinking and real world applications and problem solving. Awesome, right? We all want that. But then they fall back on the same flat word problems and skill drills that students completely sleepwalk through. Okay. What if your lessons could be just as rigorous, but a whole lot more real and engaging? So let's break down the 3 R's of real, relevant, and rigorous. This is not our first time talking about this, but this is a bite-sized PD. So I'm going to give it to you quick and easy, and I'll link other episodes on this in the show notes if you are interested. All right, let's talk about it. Real, okay? Real means actual, real world tasks, not word problems that just like pretend to be real, okay? And you all know what I'm talking about when I say they pretend to be real. They're pseudo real, okay? So I want you to think about things like making a budget, analyzing a graph, creating a spreadsheet, planning supplies for a project. All of those are what we do in real life. This is what learning math is for, what it's preparing them for. Okay. Then we want to talk about relevant. Relevant means that it connects to your students, their interests, their aspirations, their identities. Okay. Want it to land? Make your math content, make your lesson about them. Simple as swapping a generic name for a student name. Swap tractors for TikToks. Find some way to make that connection. It doesn't have to be trendy. It just has to be true to the students and their world. Okay. Last up, but certainly not least, rigorous. Gosh, that word has such diverse meanings here in our educational space. But for us, rigorous does not mean hard. It does, however, mean that we have high expectations that match the intent of the standard. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, every standard has a different intent, whether it's procedural, conceptual, applicable, or modeling or otherwise. Okay. So if we're talking about a modeling standard, you bet your butt we're going to be going through that modeling process. Does it focus on conceptual understanding? You know we're going to be talking about it. Is this procedural proficiency? Of course, you guys. That is when we're going to be practicing skills before applying them to the classroom. Remember, you guys, here's what I want you to know. Okay, real, relevant, rigorous. This all comes together. We don't do projects, right? Which brings it all together, right? We don't do projects because they're fun. We do projects because real life is projects. Think about it. What is it that you do at home? Projects. Do you want to redo your room? Do you need to repaint your guest room here? Are you trying to tackle landscape? Each of those is a home project. Are you planning a grad party like I am this summer? You guessed it. That's a project. And what does your boss give you at work? Projects. Okay. So projects are real life. That's why we do them. It engages your students in the real, the relevant, the rigorous, and it prepares them for real life. So, want to catch the 3 R's in action? My absolute favorite project right now is the Save for Success project. This one hits every R and like, boo, knocks it out of the park. Okay. This is real because your students are going to be researching real careers, real colleges, real student loan debt information, and different savings options that actually exist in the real world right now in your hometown. It's relevant to your students because they're going to choose a lifestyle and career path that actually matters to them. What do they actually literally physically want to do with their life when they are done with your classroom? Okay. And it's rigorous because your students are going to be digging in, they're going to be sifting through and analyzing data, they're going to be comparing and creating these exponential functions, they're going to be evaluating models, they're going to be making, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're going to be making decisions. It is a layered project and it is deep. It is the complete perfect project for my Algebra 2 students to see that math matters and that the more they know, about math and the processes behind it and the thinking behind it, the more useful it can be, especially in helping them make some smarter choices on their next big step. Okay. So projects are great, real relevant, rigorous. I'm all in, Kristen, but what's holding teachers back? You guys, some teachers think two different trains of thoughts. Some of us are on board with, well, the problems in my textbook are good enough. It got pretty good reports on Ed Reports. It got all the greens, right? These are just good enough. Maybe, right? Maybe. But let's be real. They're probably meh at best. Okay. Do your students care about the problem? Probably not. You can definitely do better. On the other side, there are teachers that are going to skip the real world tasks because they have too much to get through, trying to focus on those procedural skills for standardized tests, right? But that's completely missing the point of math class. Math is about problem solving, not just skill regurgitation. Okay. So I want to talk to you about my litmus test for every lesson or every project. Does it meet these criteria? Is this going to be real, relevant, and rigorous and prepare my students for the future? So ask yourself, what skill beyond the math standard are students practicing here? For example, if you're having your students complete the square, oh, that is monotonous and procedural and blah, blah, blah. But it's not just about completing the square. It's about mastering and perfecting algebraic manipulation, perseverance, and pattern recognition. Three big underlying factors here. And here's a hint. That is the answer to when a kid asks you, when am I ever going to need this? It isn't that they need to know how to complete the square to solve a problem. It's that they need to know how to manipulate algebraic expressions, how to persevere when it gets tough, and how to recognize a pattern and get that result, okay? Regardless of what it is that they're working on. I also then ask myself, when else might this skill show up, either in future courses or real, there we go, careers. Okay. If this is something that I know my students are going to need to have a really solid understanding of, especially, just thinking off the top of my head of like data and statistics, that comes up everywhere. You guys, they need to be data literate. Okay. So if you can't give them a full data course, do yourself and your students a favor and really do a great job teaching your data and stats unit this next year, because that is applicable to so many careers and future courses. Okay. And also, speaking of that, does it apply widely? Does this align with the widely applicable prerequisite standards from the Common Core State Standards? I know you don't all teach from the Common Core State Standards, but the widely applicable prerequisites, those are a set of agreed upon standards that are useful to a variety of widely applicable college and career factors. Okay. So if you don't know those, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to share that list with you. It is accessible for free on the internet. So shoot me a DM. I'll find a link and send it to you, or I'll try to link it in the show notes. Okay. Also, is this going to be modeling or application based? Because again, that's going to get them into that real world modeling and problem solving. So again, my three questions that I ask myself: what skill beyond the math standard are students practicing? Beyond the explicit standard, what are the underlying skills? Okay. When else might that skill show up in future courses or real careers? I don't know. I'm having a hard time saying that today. And three, does this align with the widely applicable prerequisites, or is it modeling or application based? Do I know that it's going to hit a variety of skills that are going to prepare them for the future? If it checks those boxes, you've got something worth teaching and worth designing a real, relevant, rigorous lesson around. Okay, you guys. So real, relevant, rigorous. This isn't just the future of math. This isn't just a gimmick. It's the future of learning. Making that connection to your students is key to getting that student engagement. So when you can keep it real, keep it relevant, and keep it rigorous, your students are going to be more invested in the lesson and they're going to gain a whole heck of a lot more out of it. It's how we move from compliant classrooms to curious ones. And it's a really simple framework, I know, but it's a powerful one. And it is the foundation of everything I teach inside the Modern Math Teacher membership. So if this got your curiosity piqued at all, make sure you're on my email list so you get updates for the next time doors are open to that membership. All right, you guys, I want to hear from you. What was one meh lesson that you taught this year that could be transformed with the 3 R's? DM me the topic or the standard, and I'll send you a few ideas or even help you rework it with some AI to completely bring that lesson to life. I know you know that you can teach that one better, and I'm here to help you do that. All right, you guys, until next time, keep making math feel relevant, keep making it rigorous, and as always, keep it real. I'll see you next time.